Well, as you can see, I have some happy puppies this morning. Loud, happy puppies. Now they're going to go fight, make a fight with the next door neighbor's dog. I'm going to try and sit down here without being accosted too much. It's not easy because they are full of energy. They had a good night's sleep. Oh, ow, 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 ow. So Baloo weighs about 70 pounds. And let me tell you, he feels it too. Anyway, I'm going to have some coffee. Hope you guys have something to get you going so that you can be ready for your energy filled day. Mm. Oh, also, I hurt my knee Thursday with the dogs. I know it's amazing that they would hurt me. It was a little my fault and just bad luck. I they had gotten Baloo and Pepper have a leash that strings between the two of them, and they were they were running with that leash between the two of them, and they ran and hit me really hard in the knee. I think it's going to be okay though. It's already feeling a little better. It was never that bad. I just babied it because I could definitely feel the pain, but I think I only strained a couple of tendons in the front of my knee here. Yeah, puppy dogs. Got one puppy and two dogs, and one of those dogs acts more like a puppy than a dog. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is uh, learning, and that's really the big topic in artificial intelligence right now is how the models are learning. So one of the things that people are upset about is that it is known that the way these artificial intelligence language models actually uh, develop their responses to people has to do with the ability to get a lot of information and process it. When I say a lot of information, I mean a lot of information. So some people are like, well, so they're basically stealing our work. And that is an interesting argument. Let's unpack that a little bit. So, in order for them to have the responses that it has, they have to consume human work. The human work is also consumed by humans. The thing that upsets them is not that, because we as humans expect other humans to consume our work. I, for instance, am a programmer. My common joke is, oh, we never write any code based on things other software people have done. We always write original code. Wow, that is not true in the least. Almost all the code that's ever been written, and I mean this, almost all of it is not original. Almost all of it has stemmed from a pattern or an example that has been distributed by like Stack Overflow or in a Pluralsight course or something of that nature. We have most software that we do is based on this pattern, and then we update the pattern for a to match the environment and the variables and the needs that we have. So that freedom to use other people's stuff is kind of like known. It's been known for quite some time. I remember I saw a patent for a uh, a loop. Somebody patented a loop in court. So that if you ever wrote a loop, and a loop, for those people that are not programmers, means do this so many times. It can be, like you have a list of data and you want to go for the first one in the list, second one in the list, so on and so forth, and do things based on those values. That's a really standard loop. A lot of loops are like that, but there was a patent on it. Needless to say, that patent was cute, and I think they actually tried to enforce it a little bit, but it couldn't be enforced because there was just too much momentum behind reusing those things that you learn. And, you know, if you are an artist, you can be inspired by vistas and people and stories and other artists and how they drew stuff. So I'm not saying you copy them, but their style makes you really affects the way you would produce your artwork. You don't compensate them for it. That artwork is hanging in a gallery, and you paid your ticket to get into maybe the gallery, or it was free. A lot of them are free, and you saw the art, and it inspires you. That person didn't get anything. I remember reading about the guy that Dyson when he created his first bagless vacuum. Ow! God, it's a heavy dog, and he just lays on me so hard. Oh my gosh. You are nothing but a brute. Ah, good Lord. Have to look get bruised up by these big galoots. Uh, anyway, so Dyson, he was saying was in his bagless vacuum. He was asked, "How did you come up with this?" And he said it was inspired by some wheat mills, and he was noticing how they would do the collection of the heavier wheat and blowing out the chaff. And he just saw how they were doing it, and he said, you could do that with uh, the dirt and dust that comes into a vacuum and not have to get a bag every time. So he was inspired. And guess what? Even though he said this was an inspiration to him, he didn't pay the wheat mills people money. He didn't give them any money off of his vacuum company. He gave them credit, but nothing financially. So that's the weird thing to me is there's these people that are like, I, I want to stop them from using my stuff. It can't stop me from using their stuff. It can't stop you from using their stuff because they've shown it to you. Once it's visible, once it's out in the world, it is now an inspiration to how you do things. And don't get the idea that this is critical. I'm not saying you copied it exactly. When Dyson took that idea, he did not copy the wheat mills exactly. When you see those artist renditions, you don't copy them exactly. They are an influence. And the same thing with a lot of the AI stuff. There is influence of all the. Dude, please don't tear up my skin. There's influence of all these different people and things, but influence, not a copy, not verbatim, not all that information. Now, it's interesting, right? It's going to be very interesting. So, the other point I wanted to make was people are saying, how can the um, AIs get smarter if they're using the past and then they produce something? Because what we usually do is we use the past and we add on to it, or we adjust it, or we tinker with it, and we get more and more better products over time. So the question is, can the AI do that? Can it take it, make it a little better, and move it over? Now, I think the answer is yes. I haven't seen it yet. However, that just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean that it hasn't been done. There have been videos I have watched where AI experts have talked about how they've seen changes to things like games, like Go and chess and stuff like that, that people don't didn't do in the past. And the AI came up with it. That AI coming up with that, not based on what a pattern or a technique that has been seen, is possibly an example of how the AI is moving a little bit beyond its training. It may be going outside. Now, if you go outside your training, if you do things outside your training, typically you do it with the anticipation, of getting a little feedback. So the AIs, I think this is crucial. I think it's crucial. I've heard other people say it's crucial as well. They've got to be able to start uh, reviewing their alterations. If they can do that, if they can learn those alterations, they can get much better at things. Uh, One of the key metrics that if you look at different AIs is whether or not they can do math. And when I say do math, I mean do it well. A lot of them can't do it really well right now, but the number is improving pretty steadily. So if they, and I say math because math is one of those key aspects where if it's done, if it's given uh, um, a good feedback using mathematical principles, you can check things. That mathematics can let you check to see whether or not something is possible, true, and prove it out. All right. So that's all I had today was to talk about uh, AI learning and AI learning expansion over time. It's going to be fairly interesting. I think it'll be a wondrous time for us. And I'm going to get inside before my doggies hurt my other knee. I just got to get away from these guys. They are so rambunctious in the morning. They don't get to play, they all take a nap while me and uh, my wife sleep. They get up, they're raring to go. All right. Oh my gosh. Ah, boy, they are something else. Right, Luna?